This is the next video on Rafflenbeul. This is an MS200 which I just received, and I started tearing it apart and cleaning it. As you can see, it's not yet cleaned, and for a friend of mine, Anne-Marie Brown, asked me to do a video on the mount of this little knife. I decided to just show you what I do here. This is a part of the mounting procedure, and maybe you can get some information from that you desire. If you want to demount a machine like this, just play the video backwards and then you got the information you need. The first thing I want to do is mount this little knife down here. As you can see, this is the part where the needle is, and the knife goes with it. Next part I'm going to mount is this working table, which goes here, and you have to be aware of the fact that the needle plus the guide for the needle has to be downwards, otherwise you won't be able to get this on here because the needle goes through the table. So of course you have to move it backwards until you're able to slide this on. These screws attach the table, and so I got them in here. Now you can see that when I turn the machine, here the little knife comes up. This can be adjusted in the depth, but at the moment I'll leave it just the way it is. Just for the fun of it, I give it a go and try if everything moves properly so far, and as far as I can see, everything's okay. Now you can see the movement of this part here. I don't know the English term for that, but this will move the shuffle. So I'm happy with that, and I proceed. The next step is to mount the bobbin, and so I just put it in without the inner part. Put this loosely on, this ring, and I got 3 screws here, and I just screw that in. Maybe you can see here that the pipes for the oil pump are not connected at the moment. They are very old and very stiff, and so I have to replace them. But this is not important for me at the moment. And other than usually if you remount that, you should give a drop of oil behind the bobbin. But at the moment this is not important because I just want to get it going. So now this is working, and so I can do the next step. The next part to assemble is this loop opener, which will move here, and it sits on this. That will go on there. You can see here, hopefully you can see, that there's a little metal part in here which slides into this slot. So it can't turn in any direction. Once again I use this special wrench think these square nuts are really old-fashioned, but they do the job, so I just leave it as it is. Later on I have to adjust this. This screw here is really worn out. I have to look later on if I have a replacement for that, but at the moment I leave it as it is. And this has to be adjusted. As you can see, it slides in a slot, and there's a little finger here, and it needs to open the loop that's built by the under thread, and so I have to adjust it later on. Next and last part for the moment is pressure foot. I just have to look through my collection. I got several of them actually, as you can see here, and they got different shapes, and so I have to look which one I want to take. The one that came with the machine was the open one, but I think it's not the best choice if you want a universal one, because here the awl goes through this open hole, and if you sew very close to the upper shoe, the awl can touch the leather of the upper shoe, which happened to me in my first pair of shoes, so I won't mount this one. I think I choose this one here, and that'll do the job. This is the starting point for the whole procedure, and maybe you can see, no you can't see, but I move you over there. The handle points upwards at the moment, and this is due to the fact that this big wheel was off the machine. And what I do now is that I mount the handle downwards, so in the starting position the handle will always be at the lowest point. So without testing anything, I always know where the starting point of the sewing procedure is, and this is when the handle is downward. The disassembly is very easy. There's a little screw in this ring. I just loosen the screw, take the little ring off, then I slide it a bit out, turn it, slide it back on. I just have to find the right position, and then the ring goes back. I just tighten the screw, and that's it. It's quite easy. Unless your machine is severely rusted, all these things at the Rafflenbeul are really easy and well made. I had to change my camera to the iPhone because the other one had a low battery. I want to show you how to adjust the depth of the cut this little knife does from the underside of your shoe. This is a spare part I have in my drawer, and as you can see, here's the awl with a square nut. Actually here is a missing square nut, but in the machine there will be a square nut here, and this keeps the whole thing fixed. But if you loosen it, you can move the knife against the awl, as you can see here. And there's a little pointer here and a scale, and so you can relatively see how deep the cut will be. As when you move to the 0 here, it will be very shallow, and if you move to the 7, it will be very deep. And I would tend to believe that 2 millimeters or so would be fine. In a second I'll show you where this whole thing is in the machine. Okay, I try to do this without cutting. You see this part here, and I move over to the machine, and here you got the same part. You got the awl here, Here you got the square nut I was talking about, which keeps the whole thing stable. But if you loosen this square nut, you will be able to move this little pointer here on the scale. As you can see here, the pointer is at the very right end of the scale. The 0 is here, the 7 is over there. And I'll show you in a second how that looks when I move the machine regarding the knife. When I move the machine, I do that with my left hand, so it takes a bit. You can see that the knife here comes totally through even the pressure foot. So it would do a very deep cut. Maybe it would cut through a sole. So this is not well adjusted, and so I have to adjust it now. For adjustment, I need to move the square nut in a good position, which is here, because now it points upwards at a moment where the awl points downwards. Once the square nut is loose, it's very easy to move the pointer on the scale. I do that with a screwdriver here. As you can see now, I adjusted it at nearly 2 millimeters, and I'm going to go back a bit. I can show you the effect here. Turn the whole thing. Now I think it just is above the level of the table. So this is the reassembled machine. As you can see, everything's moving nicely, and now I need to do some adjustments, especially this little finger here, which holds the thread, and I need to adjust this finger, which opens the loop, and of course I have to put in the bobbin here and do some adjustments to the little spring at the shuffle as well, but this won't be part of this video.